A teacher romance set in the 90s.
Ooh, Yaoi Review.
Hi everybody, it's Corbin. Today I'm here to talk to you about They Said You Can't Come Back by Velvet Toucher. Or, They Said You Won't Come Back by Velvet Toucher. We shall read the back and delve into the nitty-gritty. In a small Japanese town in the mid-90s, two male teachers meet in middle school. Yoshiki is a impulsive, unmotivated, and irresponsible young teacher who runs away from any commitment in his life. When Hinagashi, a devoted, responsible head teacher, ends up with Yoshiki as his assistant, conflict is inevitable. This is rated 18+, and it is published by Yaoi Revolutions. Now, Velvet Toucher is one of my favorite Yaoi Revolution authors. Very, very good work, beautifully detailed, well drawn. So I had high expectations for this. I will tell you, the art style, it's different than her previous works, but these are in black and white instead of color, like, I think it's In the Snow or something like that, or In the Snow is comparatively. And it is very much so, I have to be careful what I show you because this is very explicitly drawn. It's just different than her other normal style that I'm used to from her other work. It's still beautiful, it's still nice to look at, it does take a beat to get used to, and I do really like it. Now, plotline-wise, it does say is it exactly what it says in the back, except for we end up discovering that both teachers share more in common than they thought. The irresponsible one, he comes to school, he admits that he ends up quitting, usually after a few weeks, because he just doesn't care, and he has no motivation, and that he owes a ton of money to, like, some gambling den. And it's really interesting. And it teaches us about cultural differences between the 90s versus now. Like, teachers could hit their students, and they did home visits at random if they wanted to, when a student didn't show up at school. So it just shows you cultural differences, and then it kind of shows you societal differences. Like, for example, going to a BDSM club, it was readily available for him, one of the teachers in the story, readily available for him to go to, and it wasn't a shameful thing for him to have gone, but what was shameful, what he did, which was bum stuff. And there were ways around certain things, which I found really interesting. I'd never heard of that before, so I don't know if maybe that's just the author's interpretation or if that was a real cultural thing. So anyway, plot line. The two teachers end up fighting for a little bit. One admits that he's gay, the other one goes, I don't care about that, that's not the problem. You need to become more dedicated to teaching and dedicated to your students. And they both eventually learn how to work together. They resolve their differences in a I'll fuck you kind of way. And it's a sweet kind of, I won't say campy, but it's a sweet kind of slowly progressing romance. It ends very suddenly, very abruptly. It almost feels like there wasn't actually an end. It just kind of goes, yes, and we'll be together until, and then that's where it cuts off. It's very weird the way it ends. I really did enjoy it. I don't know if I'd recommend this to everybody, but I think the only way you can read it is if you buy it. I do recommend checking it out. I do think it's interesting. I just don't know if it's worthwhile to have in your collection. So if you have a friend who bought it, read it from them and then decide. It's kind of very middle ground for me. It's not my favorite of her works. I prefer the other one of her series, which I'll try to have linked down in my description box. I love that one a lot more than this one. So yes, if you guys have read this before, let me know down in the comment section below. Shoot me a like, favorite, subscribe, share this with a friend who likes yaoi, and I will talk to you guys later.
Do you like what you see? Then...
Subscribe!